Hey, very good. Well, good afternoon. Welcome to the Dream Labs, Dr. Contrast Live. I hope all is well with everybody. I just thought I'd take a quick moment here and to give you a little bit of an update on where we were as of yesterday. We went through a series of little concept sketches or stream studies on autonomous sedan sketches, and today we just want to turn it around a little bit and move into something a little more fine art related, doing some Seascape, really color pencil sketches, just preparatory maybe for doing some watercolor studies later on down through the season here as we go down the line here. But just a nice little change of pace in terms of going from a mechanical thing to something that's a little more of a seascape or a landscape approach to some concept sketches here. So I'm going to concentrate on some really fast little pencil studies here on seascapes, and basically concentrating on lighthouses and just a general overall look at a composition for maybe, as I said, some potential watercolors as we go down the line here. So let me just start with I probably roughed out a little rough sketch here, so I'm going to just kind of lay in some little bit of color and some tone to this thing, and we'll come back in and just get this getting started. So thanks so much, Chip, for joining us. Here we go. Just kind of get some little sketches in through here. Put a little bit of this down. Kind of lightly tune in just a bit. Sketch through it. Let's lay in what the rough architecture of this guy is going to do here. That to that, a little bit of that gable. So you're going to get just a nice little quick little pencil setup here. Put a little bit of color to it. Turn this guy just a bit here. Let's get the lighthouse in place. A little bit of the land contour here. Some softscape. Bit of shadow here. With the gables, a little bit of the windows kind of blocked in here just a bit. Just a nice little rough theme sketch here for some potential future watercolors. It just started putting it all together here. Let's see. There's a lighthouse, has missile launchers. No accident, just happy little clouds. There you go. Aha, yeah, I bet it's a bit freaking laser beam. Yeah, that's, you got it, Chip. It's more of a weapon than it is anything else, right? That's funny. But in all seriousness, I've always said this. I think there's a lot of good merit to the fact that you change gears a little bit. It's very often, I think, to me, a good fine art system. Understanding how to put together pieces together from a fine art point of view really is helpful in terms of doing some design work. It all works together. And I think every now and then you get to the place where, like in my case, I'll change tempo quite a bit all the time. from subject matter, maybe it's mechanical, the automobile, to product, to environmental, architectural, landscape work, but then every now and then the fine art piece comes into play, and it's really interesting to watch it unfold, because I think you'll learn some things about how to be, textures, color, composition, all those things are really interesting. It's interesting how it all comes together, so really interesting. So let's carry on here, and we'll just kind of put some little thumbnails here. I think a good setup here. And again, the reason I'm doing this is I think eventually I'll start putting in some more watercolor work into the mix here from the stream programs and how to put that little stuff together here. So let's kind of carry on here, and let's see here. Let's put a little more roughness in this guy here. Let's get a little bit more of this craggy little New England kind of setup here. Just a lot of stone character. Just get a good line drawing started, and we'll start to put a little bit of color into this thing here. Let's get a little bit of overhang in this thing. Just fun stuff. I'm just creating as I go here, and just put a little pencil rough together and just start to let it come off the page a touch here. I just want to give myself a vertical here because I'm going to lay something in, give a little bit of backdrop in through here. And put that down and just get these guys up in speed. Just a little bit more tempo here. Let's get this guy a little bit more height. Let's go. That's it. That's better. Let's come back in. A little bit of framework on this guy. A shadow. Again, a little bit of lighthouse slot in this thing, just slowly but surely. There's nothing more exciting to me than putting together a good concept sketch. When it all puts together, it begins to tell you a story about how to work with black and white, where to place the emphasis, and where to put the emphasis into it, and then leave some area around it. Let's put a little bit of tone in this guy just to get it started. Let's kind of see what happens here. Add a pencil, tone it just a bit, run it through. A little more shadow underneath that area here. That helps. Let's put a little bit of this color in this thing now. Let's put this little gable piece. And the cap on the lighthouse itself, where the light source is coming from. And again, a little bit of the bell underneath it here. Again, we're going to just Prismacolor pencil, laying some very simple surfaces in here. Let's put that cap up on top there. That little by little, just putting some emphasis in this thing as we go here. So let's come back in. Pardon me if I sharpen that stick here. So we have there. That Seascape is just a secret place where that combat chip lays. I think we're trying to get the subliminal plots here, Chip. They're going to give us into trouble here. So not a problem. Just got to put some railing in this thing. A little more definition. Yeah, this could be like a secret outpost, Chip. I think you're right. Maybe you could almost call it that. That'd be kind of fun. But it really is just a lighthouse study. That's all. A little seascape. That's it. Let's put that in behind here. Let's bring that in behind. Put that into place. Let's put a little bit of offset cap on this thing. Glass up on top there. A bit of light coming through this guy. Again, there we are. Let's put a little more shadow in this thing too. More of a definite drop in this form. A little bit of glass surface in here. Just slowing it down. A bit of detail as we go. Let's put this in context here. A little bit of a roof system behind it. Again, just a little bit of some window definition. That there's a building behind this primary building. Just slowly how to pick up those aspects out of this thing. It's kind of a lot of fun. What was it, stuff like this, or did you go straight into industrial design? That's a good question, Chip. Hey, Shadow, how are you? Good to have you on board. Nice to see you. The secret base, and it's not so secret. Yeah. No, I think it all started when I was the process began very, very simply. I think it was more of an industrial design pursuit than it was a fine art pursuit. But during the process of going through the design education, we had great instructors that really emphasized the fact that a good fine art base is really interesting too in terms of putting together good design stuff. So it's a bit of a combination of both, Shadow. So great question. Thank you. So a bit of shadow underneath this gable here. Just gonna put that together. Now let's put a little bit of foreground into this thing. Let's put a little bit of some of this emphasis in here. Just gonna give it an offset. First of all, let's do this. Just kind of just wash in some real quick little passes. I'll put some context to this thing as we go. There's one. Now we're working very quickly just to block in some of the composition here. And again, same thing here. And get a little bit of this. Actually take some white here. Let's put a little bit of this high contrast in here. And just slowly but surely blocking this thing out of this piece, and that should do it. Right, like knowing how this line actually goes together. I'm sure it's important. Yeah, you start to put these pieces together, Shadow. You're absolutely right. It's just little things that make a huge difference. I've always said this too during the drawing process. If we're too big to do the little things, we're too little to do the big things. Let's put more tone in this, guy, as we go down the line here. Now let's get a little bit of this. Let's put some really soft, hard, some nice solid green lawn space up on top to kind of divide the surfaces up a bit. Up on top just a bit. Little by little we're getting there. Then we'll come back to this little bit of dark forest green, and it's just laying some really good shadow here. While I'm at it, let's put a little bit of distance back here, way on the other side of the water there, lake or ocean. A bit of that in, and so all of a sudden, composition started to come together here for us. So just kind of breaking it down, and how it all comes together. And let's see, that's going to get a little more tone in here, a little bit brighter, a little variation on texture here. Just kind of mixing it in. All preparatory in terms of maybe doing some pretty interesting little watercolor studies as time comes along here. Let's see, let's do this. Let's tone this back just a bit more. You're going to break up some of the shapes. I'm going to start to pressure in some of this pine tree here. Put a bit of overlap on this guy. Let's put a little bit of core inside this thing. Notice really starting to push the pressure now in terms of getting lights and darks to function here. Get this composition to really work. And while I'm at it, that's a great question too, Shad. I think one of the things about industrial designs that we've really lost sight of is the fact that it's also very much a premise based on fine arts system, like backgrounding and tones and textures and things of that nature. It really makes a huge difference when you start to put together the process here. Really interesting because you can't ignore one against the other. It's absolutely fatal if you do so. So let's put this together. Let's put more tone in this guy. Base of that. Away from the light source, a bit of texture back into this. More shadow into that. More of this round here to kind of come out. That's better. And some lightning of the residence itself. Back in through here. Let's kind of put this together. Maybe a little brick structure back here. Just kind of faintly lay that in behind the surface. Sharpen the stick up a little bit here. Well, I hope this little subject matter today, the study we're doing here, guys, does not bore you, because I think it really is interesting how, hey, Doug, how you doing, Doug? Good to have you on board here. Let's kind of just scrub in some rock. Let's put a bit of tone in this guy too. Let's get some real deep shadows in some of these crevices that comes into the rough area here. Drawing definition back into these surfaces and shapes. And a little more tone inside this guy. Little by little, the composition is starting to come together, gang. There it is. Don't be fools. The super missile. Yeah, here you are. Let's kind of treat this a little bit more of a cavern area here. It's kind of simplified the shape just a bit too much tone. It's a bit of a shadow up on top here. And again, let's go back and get some of this greenery put in place. And really quick. Just using the pencils almost like a drilling tool, just going back in there and just really laying in some really good solid dark surfaces to get this shape to really perform and work for us here. Or this composition rather, pardon me. Trick is to grind it in, then come back in and define it. Oops, sorry about that. A little bit deeper here. Off in the distance. There you go, a little quick composition there. Putting it all together. Let's see, don't be fools. Yeah, there we go. Let's put this together here. And last but not least, let's add a little bit of definition here. Let me get this black pencil back out, put more definition in some of the railing systems here. Up on top. Shadow underneath that cap. More definition there. Need the ceiling or this roof system to kind of cooperate for us. There's a deeper shadow underneath that window frame there. And again, underneath this side. And there you go. What do you think, gang? Always amazed with the mixed medias go. There it is. Okay, guys, there it is. Just a little bit of color pencil, a little bit of muse print here, and then last but not least, let's add a little bit of this to it. Get rid of these guys for a second here. Pardon my hands. And there's a quick and dirty little composition study here in watercolor here. Just very interesting, just how it all comes together, and putting together just a little mixed media work with some color pencil and a little bit of pastel. And just a nice little rough comp here, maybe some future reference into a watercolor side. Let me do this, I just noticed here. Let's get that highlight back in there. That cleans that up a bit. Going back to this. Pardon me as I turn this upside down here. There it is. Well, I hope this is not boring for you guys at all. I mean, I'm just looking at the possibility of, again, it's the whole idea is to verify and to really open up and expand the process side of putting together concept sketches here and putting together a lot of variety in terms of what the process can do for you here, especially when you're working with a lot of mixed media work. Let's put a little bit of highlight back into this guy, a little bit more character. And there it is. And then down into here. And there you go. I mean, it's just a simple, very quick series of exercises here with getting a little bit of color pencil to work and some compositioning. And they're really dressing up the fact that this around this lighthouse, the residents, the little back building, and some of the seascape and some of the stone wall right in front of the cliffs area. It really just is amazing how it all comes together. And I think it comes down to, again, I always talk about this every time I go through a process in the stream, and that is the idea of drawing, for example. The drawing side of it always becomes critical. This is a really good example of how this all comes together. When you begin to put together the sketches, to me, the drawing is everything. You can have a great idea, but if the drawing doesn't quite have the character, the personality, you're going to fight it all the way here. And I don't mean you, but I mean I'll fight it. I just really feel more confident putting together a real good, solid concept sketch and a good drawing that really kind of dictates the tempo of the rest of the process. So there's phase one. Let me just kind of go back in here and we'll autograph this guy to be guilty. So there's phase one, this nice little concept sketch here. Let's go back and I've got another one here. We're going to lay it out. I just put together another little study here. Same process. I'm going to do the same kind of seascape kind of thing, different tenure. But let's go back in and just start to put together a little rough sketch here. Let's kind of get this guy put together. Pardon me here. Get this out of the way. Again, a little bit of contour in the seascape into the foundation of the ground plane here. Window. Again, let's curve this out. Let's taper that just a bit. Now back to a straight bell right up on top here. Put some billings around it. A little bit sharper here. Again, notice this drawing is going to dictate an awful lot of neat things for us here. Yep, that's clearly headquartered right there. That's a lot of fun because it's very mysterious. Maybe this lighthouse is some sort of a secret operation. Let's put a little bit of building back here in the background. A bit of a window definition here, just kind of block it in. Draw through it, get this forward building here. Also, a neat little composition, just kind of come together with the idea of just having to, let's see, we love to be skeptics talk. Not really, that's kind of neat. All right, there you go. Just kind of blocked in a little bit of a rough sketch here to kind of get it started. Let me move this over just a bit. What do you think, gang? Come along okay? Hope this is not boring to you. I mean, I just really want to go back and reemphasize. Every now and then it's nice to change the tempo and go from something that's very mechanical or very product related into something that's more of a fine arts approach. Because again, what I learned from that, and I hope of picking up on, is the fact that it's really the drawing skills of the texture changes, color, tone, surfaces, all that begins to work together when you begin to put together any kind of formal sketch or any idea process. So that's why I think it's interesting to change gears every now and then and change the circumstances. Let's kind of get that together. Let's put a little railing up on top of this thing. Let's get that in place. Let's go back and get a little bit of color in this guy now and start to just kind of brush it in. Softer bit of shadow in this guy. Start to indicate where the light source is. Set that in. A little more crescendo underneath that little cantilever. Oh, pardon me. A little bit of shadow underneath the roof that overhangs here. And a little bit of tone added here. And a bit of shadow in there. Drop that back just a touch. And where we are here. Cast shadow one building onto another. A bit of light source indication. And again, back to a little bit of a chimney piece here. Shadow. Highlight. And again, just a little bit more of this tone away from the light source. It's going to just kind of scuff that in. There it is there. The shadow underneath here. A little boulder. A little bit of a brick wall here. Let's kind of put this in place. Has a shadow under that wall. And again, just a little bit of a change of pace here. Let's kind of get some contact in here now. Let's go back and get some seascapes and some soft surfaces in here. And get this guy and sharpen it up just a bit here. What do you think, gang? Coming along all right? Lay a little bit of this rock base first. And come back in, put a little bit of shadow into it. And come back in again. And just almost there, gang. How we coming on? All right. There it is. There it is. Nice little composition piece there. Pardon me if I kind of straighten it up there. Just there it is. Coming together down here. Thanks very much, Chip. I hope that's, as I said, guys, I just hope this is not boring to you. I mean, it's a different format altogether than maybe product related, but it has an awful lot of substance in terms of understanding how to work with certain shapes and forms and how to deal with it. A nice, simple finish here. Let's kind of put some high contrast in here now. And last but not least, let's get a little bit of indigo in this thing. Well, what do you think, gang? Stick a little bit of that C right in through there. You'll see just a touch right in there. What do you think, gang? There's a little composition again, phase 2. And again, a little rough composition here based on, again, just doing some cities or seascapes and just getting some fine artwork in tune here. And just kind of with this definition, just get the shadow in here. Some more shadow here. And there. A little more. Get that round to work a little bit better for us. And again, up on top. And a little bit of a beacon work here. Let's see what happens if we kind of get this guy to. And last but not least, a little bit of definition along those ledges there. So that helps. That helps. And that just about has it there, gang. Let's put more shadow in this guy. Let's kind of define this a little bit better. And there it is, gang. A little finished sketch here. We need to add something a little bit more impact to this guy. Let's do this here. And there it is, gang. How about that? There it is, phase number 2. Hope that works and makes some sense for you here. Oh, let's do this. I forgot to add this little pond out here. One more pass in here. Some of the crudeness off of this shape in through. Let's kind of get a little more definition. And we'll call it a day. There you are. How's that, gang? There's a nice little composition here, I think, in terms of putting together a little fine art piece. I'm going to do one last thing here, a little strong in through here. Let's kind of tone that back just a bit. And there it is. There's number 2. Let's put this guy together here, and we'll just kind of indigo, a little bit of sharpness. And so there they are. That's number 2 right there, all set. Let's see the shadow again. There it is. Beautiful. When do we leave? Yeah. So a little bit of a little concept study here on putting together some little gestures on just some fine art work, because I think it's really important every now and then to kind of back up a little bit and take advantage of some of the fine art stuff that begins to factor into the actual process of putting together good design sketches. I think it all works together. I think we begin to lose sight of one or the other. It just we pay a penalty for it. I think the penalty is just to being so locked in to one particular look. And that's one thing I just don't want to develop here when I go through these streams. I just want to open enough variety that there's a lot of flexibility in what we do, not just only from a design point of view, whether it's product, transportation, or interior space or whatever, but I think we kind of deal with as a really good solid drawing base to it. So I thought we'd change gears today. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed it and didn't bore you to death. It's a little bit of a different tempo for me, but one I really thoroughly enjoy, because I think what I'd like to do eventually is take a couple of these sketches, continue to work on them, and maybe convert them into a couple of nice little watercolor sketches. So this is where we started. That's sketch number 1. That's how we all began to put together the process. And let me get this stuff out of the way here. And it just started there. That's a little composition rough. Looking at that piece first. Let me get this straightened up here. There we are. And there's sketch number 1. It's putting together a little concept piece, a little seascape. That started, again, it's all on newsprint. It's Prismacolor pencil and a little bit of pastel added for the clouds and a little bit of ocean work, and that's it. That was sketch number 1. Sketch number 2 was this guy. We kind of moved into a little bit of a different format, a little bit more land base, and more traditional look at the housing and the actual lighthouse itself and some of the contour around it. But that was the same process again, newsprint, and definitely on with the Prismacolor pencil, a little bit of pastel added. And I thought I'd show you this to wrap it up here. I just finished this up for a good friend of mine, and I thought I'd give you just an idea of what we're doing here. That's a concept sketch. An actual sketch I just finished up here a couple of days ago on a residence for a good friend of mine, and it's a birthday gift surprise for him, and it's a very simple line drawing, again with marker pastel and some colored pencil and so forth. It's a multi-mixed media piece, but this is just a portion of it. It's about 30 inches long. I'm just kind of dragging it along here. It goes from that end into, the composition goes all the way through there. There's the end of it there. But again, just the primary piece. Again, look at how important to me, how important and essential the drawing is. Once that drawing is set, you kind of plug in the pieces and you go through the process of making sure materials go there and really get it all put together. And address the fact that some are soft, some are hard, and some are getting reflective. again, notice how every one of these aspects we've been talking about here today, especially when we start to look at these guys, when we start to put in some of the Seascape pieces, they all fit together, they all work. And I think that's the great thing about that, to me, the mystery and yet at the same time the majesty of design. It doesn't become part of the process of just being so tuned into one or the other. I think the more versatile you are, the more marketable you are, and the more fun it is. And again, you pull from all these elements and all these definitely interesting pieces of information into one common thread, and that is doing a great sketch. Just need a 12-car garage. Yeah, we're almost there. You can almost get a 12-car garage at this thing. But again, thank you so much for tuning in today. A little bit of a different tempo. Let me get this out of the way. A little bit different tempo, getting into some Seascape work. Always interesting to me in terms of being intriguing, because it forces you to do three things. And I'll wrap it up with this. It forces us to think in three dimensions. Number one, the composition. Number two, the materials. Number three, the personality. Those things are essential. Those pieces, anytime I draw something, I'm always thinking about those three elements. What's its personality? What's the impact? What's its tempo? What's the message we're trying to send out here? So once again, gang, thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great day. And if you have any questions about drawing or want to look at some lesson work, please visit my website, drcontrast.com. There's a lesson plan there that works with 9 different processes. If you have anything you'd like to have me work on, please feel free to drop me a note at jim@drcontrast.com. Always available to get some feedback and information from you on certain things to work with. Happy to do so. Looking forward to hearing from you in that respect. And then always tune up and sign off with things like such as this. It's really interesting how it all comes together. And thank you. And Shadow, it's good to have you on board. You've been a very busy man the last few days. I really thank you for taking the time to join in today. But in conclusion there, we'll probably pick up tomorrow around maybe 2:30 thereabouts and go into something a little different. Maybe continue on with this. We'll see how it goes, and I hope this has been enjoyable for you. Which I hope you take a great, have a great day. Take care of yourself, and I will sign up with this because I think it's really critical to do so. Never forget to remember to dare to be great, because you are. Thanks very much, gang. All the best. We'll see you tomorrow at 2:30. Bye-bye now.